How you doing, our brother man?
My nigga, what's up? What's happening?
Good. All right, let's get it. So how far now? Do you think Nigerians are suffering from music elitism?
Obviously, now, come on, man. Obviously. See the way they talk about Shallipopi. Man, shout out Shallipopi, my nigga.
Afro Pinto.
Afro Pluto, Pepe Lily, Pepe. Pepe Lily. So, definitely, they're a class of consumers,
Yeah.
a class of listeners who believe that music must conform to a particular standard in thematic preoccupation, in writing, in delivery, in production. And when it doesn't conform or it doesn't fit into that particular standard, then it becomes a problem. It becomes subpar to them. It becomes low quality. So that's why you see some people they tend to discredit or they tend to think little of indigenous rappers. Rappers who speak indigenous language, who use street slangs and who interpolate melodies. They say you're not rapping. This is not rap because they are purists. They believe hip hop must conform to a particular standard. It must be the rhyme scheme must be there. There must be less melodies. It must be hard bars and stuff like that, right? So definitely it is elitism. It is very, very popular or more common with a particular class of listeners, the middle class and upper, who believe that music must fit into a particular standard. It must be pure, it must be standard, and anything below that standard just doesn't constitute good music. So it's just definitely, if you look around you, everywhere, if you go to Twitter, if you have conversations with people and you hear their opinion on some type of music, you're going to understand that we have music elitism all around us in Nigeria.
Sorry to plug this in. I think Zlatan also suffered from something like this.
Obviously, is the Zanku monster, the indigenous rap stuff. Even someone like Udumodu Black. See the way they talk about this rap, like it's not rapping. Till today, there are people who believe Bado is not a rapper. Yeah. That he shouldn't qualify as a rapper or Fino, that they are not rapping because they sing sometimes. So it's just that's part purist and that's part elitism.
All right. Why do you think people believe music used to be better in the past?
So there's a thing called juvenoia, right? So juvenoia is the belief, or no, juvenoia is like a kind of like a prejudice against young people by old people, right? So young people, older people, the older generation tend to like look at the younger generation in a particular way. So if you look at the way, for example, how they describe Gen Z, the tag Gen Z. They see Gen Z as obnoxious, lazy, obnoxious, annoying. So that's kind of juvenile playing out, right? Yeah. And the thing is that young people determine what is popular. As long as mainstream is concerned, as far as mainstream is concerned, it's young people, it's a young population, the young demographic that determine what goes. If young people like something, be it music, be it art, be it fashion, be it lifestyle, whatever they like, whatever they lean towards, is going to be very, very, very popular. You understand? So we can ask, okay, how does this play out in music, right? How does this juvenoia play out in music? Now, since young people determine what's popular, older people tend to believe that what they like growing up, what they like back in the day is better than what we have now. Be it music, be it fashion, be it whatever. You see the way in their approach to consumption, you see, oh, this is not how music used to be now. Music used to be better than this in the past. What are you guys wearing now? We used to wear something better in the past, stuff like that, right? So, and it's not new. In the 19th century, music used to be classical. People used to go to the opera to listen to music. Then all of a sudden, we had jazz. People started playing music in clubs, in parties. A lot of instruments came into play, and we had jazz music. And people who were listening to classical music, the consumers of classical music, who are the elitists, because you have to be in a particular social strata for you to be able to go to an opera. I enjoy classical music. So they looked down on jazz music. They consider jazz music to be inferior and to be below par because it was, number one, created by blacks. And number two, it was totally different from what they were used to. So they saw jazz music as inferior. And it is the same thing that is playing out today. Because whatever kind of music we do now, the people suffering from juvenoia who are unwilling to accept that new things evolve, and new things can be better than they were in the past. They tend to lean more towards what they had graded, and they'll always try to compare it and position it over what is obtainable now. So it is actually very common.
All right. Why do people think street music doesn't qualify as good music?
It's elitism. It is just straight up elitism. Now, there are people, again, as you said, there are people who believe that music has to conform to a particular standard. That if it doesn't fit a particular standard, like pop music has to sound in a particular way, R&B has to sound in a particular way, hip hop has to sound in a particular way, and if it doesn't sound that way, even though you're doing Afrobeat, it has to sound in a particular way within the Afrobeat's boundaries, right? And if it doesn't sound that way, then it is not good music. And that's why you see people, the way they talk down on artists like Shallipopi, like Shay Vibes, even down to the Mode Black, because of the way they domesticate their music, right? So now, street acts, right? Street acts, they use homegrown elements. While mainstream pop acts lean towards foreign elements, these ones, they lean towards homegrown elements. Fuji, Akbala, gospel, indigenous gospel music, high life, like that, street slangs, language, inner city realities. These are the things they lean towards. These are their primary elements. Yeah. And these elements are not, so to an extent, it's maybe undesirable, unsophisticated to a particular class of people. And they consider it to just be subpar. They consider it to be subpar. And this is just a prejudice that has to do with elitism. And it's not new. This is the prejudice that street music have suffered all through the history of Afrobeat. From Downfall Driver to Stereo Man to Terry G to Mr. Real to Slim Keys down to Naira Marley. Even people like Badu. Now we have Shay Vibes, we have Shallipopi, and they're still suffering the same prejudice. Their type of music is tagged subpar because it doesn't conform or it doesn't fit into a particular standard that people believe music should fit into. So that's number one. That's why some people will say street music is not necessarily good music. The fact that it's popular doesn't make it good music.
Yeah. But with all of this, street music continues to be successful. Why do you think that is?
That's the question. That's the question people should ask themselves, right? Especially people now. There are people who are on Twitter bashing Shallipopi's new song or Scrawl and things like this because Shallipopi, man, because he interpolated nursery rhymes. My man interpolated nursery rhymes. Pepe Lily, Pepe Lily, Pepe Lily, Pepe. Sweet. Let's be honest with ourselves. They know they feel enter. We enter now. It's sweet, right? Yeah. So now, street music continues to be popular, and there's a reason, and people have to understand why. You have to be able to interrogate facts and ask why does street music continue to be popular, and it is because I'll keep it very simple. Number one, what they talk about is very relatable. Fraud, as undesirable as it may be, is a reflection of society. It's popular. Just go on TikTok and you see the way fraud has pervaded the society. You're going to know this is not a topic that is far-fetched. A lot of people can relate to it. The way they enjoy their life, sexual escapades, psychedelics, the drugs they use, the kind of things they do. It's relatable. It's popular among young people. And again, whatever young people like, it's going to be popular. These things are very popular among young people, right? And now, the music, the way they make their music, they use Fuji, Akbala, high life, Nigerian local gospel music. They interpolate all these elements and blend it with hip hop and pop. So this makes it very relatable. Yeah. It domesticates it, so it makes it very relatable. Then the way they deliver it, their writing, the use of their languages, the use of slangs. It's very popular. It makes it very relatable. It makes it catchy, and the way the beat is produced, it makes you want to dance. When you hear street vibe, it puts you in the mood. That's why you hear someone like Shallipopi like just tearing up the whole place. There are bad bitches dancing to Shallipopi's music in the UK, all over Nigeria. Everybody's dancing to things about Pluto. That's what's up, because the music is popular, and that's why street music has continued to be popular, because you can draw a singular thread across street music in Nigeria. What makes them street music? What is their common denominator? How do they relate to the street? The things they have in common, their thematic preoccupation, the underlying production elements, the underlying elements they use, the language, the interpolations of ingenious elements, stuff like that. So these are the things that make street music very popular, and it is the reason it is going to be popular. The fact that it doesn't conform to a particular standard, or some people think this is just not, like when you listen to Shallipopi, you just feel, man, this is just beneath me. This is not something anyone should be listening to. It doesn't make it any less popular. If it's not popular, it's not going to have 4 hits from one EP. He's not going to drop a song and the song automatically becomes the biggest song in the country. So it works, it is popular, and it's because the way they make their music is relatable.
All right. So how does street music impact Afrobeats?
So this is the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
Because this is where it all boils down to. People tend to say, oh, street music is like maybe a dent in the image of Afrobeat. Like, it doesn't, like, this is not the kind of music, these are not the type of music we should be making. It's not sustainable, you know. There's a bit of truth to it that it's not sustainable, because you want your music to, quote unquote, timeless, and also you want to have an enduring career, right? But what street music has done, right, is street music shows the diversity in Nigerian music. You know, the multiplicity, the diversity. When you hear them interpolating indigenous musical element, it shows our cultural, you know, how our culture, how the cultural mix. When you hear someone like Ashake Vibes selling our shows, Ashake sold that O2, just singing in Yoruba, right? Most of his song, 90% of his work are in Yoruba, and he's going all over the world, performing all over the world. It showcases our culture, right? And that's what street music shows, that there's more to Nigerian mainstream music beyond just the pop music that leans towards the West. And you hear someone like Shallipopi infusing Bini language, infusing that Bini vibe, and spotlighting Bini pop culture at a level, at a grand stage that has not been done before. So it shows diversity, it shows multiplicity, and it is good. And it is good. And now the thing of street music that is going to continue evolving. It's never going to just be static. I mean, the street music we listened to in 2017, Shaku Shaku, is very, very different from what we're listening to now. I mean, there was a time when street music, what we know as street music, used to be largely influenced by dancehall. It was the Galala, the Konto that was coming out of Ajegule. You know, we had the Wiliki, we had Danfo Driver, then we had Stereo Man. Then before then, Terry G added that white garment, is bell, you know, his own craziness to it, right? Then we now had even the Yorubas bringing their touch to it, adding Fuji to it, adding street slangs to it, before it now became to now street music is now very, very shaped by homegrown elements in terms of the Yoruba language or indigenous language, local like Ilai, Fuji elements, and a blend of hip hop, right? So street music has continued to evolve. I mean, between 2017 to now, we have had different forms of street music. We've had Shaku Shaku, 2017, 2018 we have Zanku, 2019 we had Malian music, 2020 we had people interpolating log drums, giving us street songs like street is like Kokoke. You know, we had people like Mobad of blessed memory, adding that gospel vibe, adding that hip hop to it, you know, and like documenting inner city realities. And now we have someone like Shallipopi bringing nursery rhymes to it and giving us Edo vibes, you know. So it's going to continue evolving. Who knows? By this time next year, maybe we'll have someone interpolating hymns. I mean, Shallipopi is doing nursery rhymes. Maybe that one will be interpolating hymns, right? And if it works, it works. If you enter, and I go feel them, and I go collect. Understand, right? So street music just showcases our culture, and there are people who would not like it because they believe music shouldn't be like that. Music should fit a particular narrative. Music should be made to say something worthwhile in their own eyes. The fact that you're talking about your own realities, the fact that you're documenting what is actually obtainable in the society. Because what these guys are talking about is true. When Shallipopi is saying things like, so you they confirm BTC? I mean, it's the truth now. There are people out there, there are niggas out there confirming BTC. Young boys. And I mean, when he talks about fraud, talks about Oskro. Oskro means women of the night. So when he talks about all these things, people be like, okay, these are not what you should talk about. Talk about that things. You talk about this, talk about deep things. Like, bro, it's different realities. There are artists who sing like that, man. You can listen to them, right? The fact that you cannot relate to it, the fact that you do not enjoy it, doesn't make it any less good music and doesn't make it any less popular. Because at the end of the day, any artist that can make music that massively appeal to the youth, that massively appeal to young people, is going to be popular, because young people determine what is popular in the mainstream, and that's facts only.